Hi everyone, welcome to another live session by Coding Spoon. I hope that I'm totally audible and visible to all of you. And you can confirm the same in the comment section. That would really be great. Uh, let's begin with this live session. So today we'll be having one of our guests, and I'll be introducing her very shortly. But before that, let me just give you an introduction to myself. My name is Hare Krishna, and I'm the founder at Coding Spoon. I have previously worked for companies like Zomato and Rapido as a software developer. Then I moved on to building this company for the purpose that we wanted to basically minimize the gap that we have in the skill set of engineering graduates. So yeah, that has been our journey, or I would say Coding Spoon journey. And for the last couple of months, we have trained hundreds of students specifically into data structures and algorithm. So yeah, I think I have taken good amount of time to introduce myself. Now let's begin with the introduction of our guest. So today, Tavleen Kaur will be joining us, who has recently cracked a company called Caastle. She is from Chandigarh University, and she is going to be graduated this year in 2022. We'll be talking about her coding journey and understand, how she got into like good product-based companies. She holds offers from other multiple companies as well. We'll be having look at her coding journey in a while. So, but before that, let me introduce Tavleen to the stream. Just give me a moment. Okay. Hi, Tavleen. I think we are live and you are live as well. Cool.
Okay.
Tavleen, I have already given the introduction of myself as well and about you as well. It would be good if you can, go ahead with your introduction.
Okay. So, hi everyone who's watching us and who will be watching later on. Myself, Tavleen Kaur. I will be graduating in 2022 from Chandigarh University with CSE as my prime this graduating degree. And yeah, so currently, I'm working with Castle. I have three other offers from Nokia, Cognizant, and Wipro.
That's
And
great.
yeah, so I'll be talking about my journey, how I started, how it's going on currently, and whatever questions that you'll have, I hope I can answer all of them during this stream. So yeah,
Definitely,
talk
definitely.
about it.
We are excited as well for this particular stream. So my first question to you, Tavleen, is that how did coding started with you? How did you got into coding? Was it started in early days of your college, or maybe you might be knowing coding from your school days? How it all started?
Okay. So for me, coding actually, I come from an ICSC school. For us,
Okay.
starts around ninth standard only. So 9, 10, 11, 12. Um, Java is one of our subjects. So from basics, starting from very basics, from oops, then about if else, then loops, pattern series, everything. All of this is taught in our curriculum only in school times. Then when we come to plus one, plus two, there's also focus given to a little bit towards more advanced data structures. Trees, graphs, no, but yes, introduction to them is also given. Then arrays. I mean, I remember the time there was a time till by the end of plus two, we had searching, sorting by heart. Everything we knew. Okay, this searching is there. I mean, basic programs, two searches, two sorts. That was by heart. So yeah, that's where I carry the baggage of coding from. Then when I came to college, of course, there are maximum people who start coding in college. So with that also there was an environment I saw people starting. So there I felt like there's a little plus point to me there because I knew a little bit of it from school days. But
Okay.
so as classes went on in first semester, second semester, different languages were taught. I did not know much about C, C++. So I spent time there knowing basics about them since I knew a little bit of Java. So it was not that difficult to catch up. Yeah, and that's how that time since it was on level, I tried developing interest towards better half of it and more about it, exploring more than what I already knew. So yeah, that was the starting of it, and it went on in second, third year. That's how.
Okay. Okay, that's great. So Tavlin, just to let you know that we had a guest in the previous stream as well, who was also from ICSE background, and they had this course curriculum that where they you get to know
Okay.
about Java and some bunch of other programming concepts. So it's great that you get exposed to this kind of concept at the school level itself.
Yeah.
However, if you see on a broader level, there are couple of maybe there are a lot of people who don't have this exposure at the initial level, or I would say even at the college level. उनके first year में they get to know कि okay programming जैसी कुछ चीज होती है. So since you
Right.
were already knowing Java and OOPS as well, object-oriented programming concept. So was there a bias for any specific language कि आपने Java से start किया तो आप Java में continue करते रह गए, or you tried working on C, C++ or something? Was there any sort of thing?
Biased, I can say, yeah, because
Okay.
when I came to college, of course, first thing is taught is C, then C++, and then they move on to Java, Python. So since I had this thing that okay, I've studied Java, let me just continue with it. Of course, for
Mm-hmm.
people who are studying coding for the first time, and since they
Mm-hmm.
begin with C, C++ only in college, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they think that that is better. Of course, I don't say any
Mm-hmm.
language is better or any is not,
Mm-hmm.
some is not
Mm-hmm.
good,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, I had a little,
Mm-hmm.
inclination towards Java only. But
Okay.
absolutely, when you're starting your journey, C,
Mm-hmm.
C++ is a good choice to go with.
Cool, fair enough. Yeah, I also feel that when you are an absolute beginner, you can pick up any language. Probably you should pick any language that should be beginner friendly, obviously.
Correct.
Cool. I think you had a good journey in programming. So let's come to the placement part. So you were from, I would say, Chandigarh University. It's a tier 3 college, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, it's teacher college.
Yeah. Uh, okay. So the audience can let us know if there is some technical glitch because I think there is some audio issue. Uh, I'm not sure if it's from my end. Let me just see. Yeah, I think it would be fine. Sorry for the technical glitch. Am I audible to you, Tablin, properly?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, okay. Yeah, I can hear you as well. I think previously I missed out on something. Cool. So yeah, I was talking about your placement. So you got offers from Nokia, Castle, and bunch of other companies as well. I guess Wipro, right? And some other companies. So all these offers were on campus, or did you applied off campus as well? How was the placement scenario in your college?
Companies start coming in our college by the end of
Um,
third year only.
Tablin,
All
mhm.
good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think it might be my internet. You can continue. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so let me know if anything breaks in between. Yeah, so I
Yeah,
was
sure,
saying,
sure. Yeah.
in my college, companies
Mhm.
start coming from the end of third year. I mean,
Mhm.
sometimes even earlier than that. So once you are known that okay, companies are starting to come now, you're all prepared. So yeah, by that time only, I have all my offers from on campus only,
Mhm.
but there are
Mhm.
also other companies that I tried off campus as well. So as I said, by the end of third
Mhm.
year company starts. So first offer that I
Mhm.
got was from Nokia, which was in
Okay.
my, I think, sixth semester only. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, that's when I got that offer, and I started in 21 July working in
Mhm.
Nokia, and then eventually by August, September, I got into Castle, and
Okay.
then I think around that time only Wipro and Cognizant were also there.
Okay. So you
Yeah,
worked for Nokia for a while, I think, right? As an
I
intern,
did.
probably.
Yeah,
Okay.
I worked as an intern with Nokia from July to December. And
Okay.
then
Okay.
January, I joined Castle.
Cool, fair enough. Tavleen, can you just talk about the skill set that helped you to get into these companies, and obviously got the offers as well. So, what made you think that? Sorry, what are the skill set that you think that that can help people who are freshers and they're applying to get into good product-based companies?
Okay. So, skills, I mean, definitely basics should be
Mm-hmm.
very clear when you
Mm-hmm.
appear for any company, be it uh, a company that's not giving you a good package, also, or be it an MNC, a
Mm-hmm.
FANG, also, basics should be clear.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Starting with DS Algo. definitely. The first and the most important thing you should be
Mm-hmm.
very good with, if
Mm-hmm.
not expert with, is DS
Mm-hmm.
Algo. Concepts should be clear. You should know what all data structures are there, where what are their
Mm-hmm.
use cases. Then questions around these only are mostly asked. They'll ask you to code and various stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Okay.
also computer fundamentals. Again, very important. When even if you don't have C, C++ as your
Mm-hmm.
major language that you work or code on, still
Mm-hmm.
you will face issue if you don't know the basics about it, because the first round, if I may say, MCQs, they will have questions on simple questions on giving output about this short piece of code that they've written, or talking about preprocessor directives. That's the basic thing that they teach in C and C at least. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where you think you may not study C, C++, but that's not the thing. You have to go
Mm-hmm.
and know everything about it. I mean, at least the basics of everything. Then,
Got it.
of course, operating system, computer networks. These are again
Mm-hmm.
two things that play a very important role when you're appearing for any company. They will possibly ask you something around the operating system, and
Mm-hmm.
there are so many things in computer networks that they'll ask. Not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily if you're appearing for a networking profile only. Yeah, then
Okay.
that's I think that covers most of the skills. These are the general skills that you will
Mm-hmm.
require for most of the companies. But yes, if you're I mean, appearing for a particular
Mm-hmm.
profile, and companies looking for a particular profile only, then you should have a better
Mm-hmm.
resume around it, better skills around it, better projects around it. For example, if I'm working, I mean, appearing for a web development profile, so
Mm-hmm.
as and when you appear for it, you have to be prepared for it, like that.
Got it. Got it. So yeah, you mentioned a couple of things like apart from DSA, you should also prepare for OS networks and bunch of other CS fundamental stuff. So how did you prepare for DSA? Let's talk about DSA first, and then we'll come to the computer science fundamentals. So DSA के लिए, what was your roadmap and how did you prepare for it?
Yeah. So, as I said, first year, of course, I did not pay as much attention as I started towards the end of first year and starting of second year. So, first year I spent on the basics only. The things that I knew from school days, improved on that. Then, second year, in first year only, you come to know about these websites like Hacker Earth, Hacker Rank, then there's Geeks for Geeks. There's so many other platforms that provide you so many questions, and also there are company specific questions, then there are general questions, then there are topic wise questions. Everything is there. So that's where I started. Geeks for Geeks definitely is like a god to every engineer, I mean. And plus, for
Agreed.
practicing, you have so many other platforms. So yeah, I started with that only to clear concepts. There is, of course, there's YouTube. There's so many tutorials that are available there. Then yeah, that's where I started. Practicing was more on Hacker Earth, Hacker Rank, and so I was not very much inclined towards competitive, but yes, I did manage to spend some time on Code Chef as well, because I think that will give you that competitive spirit, and that time, and that thing that you need. So there are a lot of constraints when you actually code there. So I think that's also one a good thing if you do.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's it.
Fair enough. So, Tavleen, you mentioned that you have been like going through a lot of resources, not just from the video tutorials, but also from things like Gigs for Gigs and some bunch of other platforms. So, abhi market में what is happening is like you'll see a lot of resources, right? अगर आपको if you have to study any topic, you will get like tens of videos, tens of tutorials, website and everything, right? So एक टॉपिक आप यहाँ से पढ़ रहे हो, एक टॉपिक यू स्टडी फ्रॉम somebody else, राइट? सो काफ़ी चीज़ें थोड़ी हो जाती है ना कि मतलब हाउ वी शुड एक्चुअली गो अहेड विद हैविंग मे बी वन सोर्स ऑफ ट्रूथ, दैट कुड ऑल्सो बी द केस, या फिर कुछ एक ऐसा कंस्ट्रेंट बना लो कि यार आई हैव टू बी लिमिटेड टू टू थ्री ऑफ दिस प्लेटफॉर्म. Was there any specific case in your coding journey?
Um, you mean to say constrained about the platform?
यस, मतलब कि बहुत सारे जगह से पढ़ना कुड बी डिफिकल्ट, राइट? इट्स डिफिकल्ट टू मैनेज
Of
कि यहाँ से
course.
पढ़ना है, यहाँ से पढ़ना है. So how did you actually manage, going through this multiple resources and still be able to learn uh, like most of the things?
Of course, I mean, you cannot be on all the platforms. Also, that will be confusing, and for that, uh, you start. I mean, these platforms, you start with them. I mean, of course, when you start clearing your concepts, there's Geeks for Geeks. Then there are all other platforms also, and then HackerRank. It starts from the basics. Then Code Chef, of course, is for competitive coders only. Then there's also Lead Code. Lead Code
Yeah.
people. I mean, usually I preferred
Mhm,
towards the
mhm,
starting of third year when I really
mhm,
focused on company specific routes only.
mhm,
So yeah, that's when. So don't go for all the sites altogether, because that will definitely confuse you. Sometimes also
mhm,
scare you. Stick to one, not a problem at all, because there's so much content everywhere.
mhm.
You just need to actually channelize where you start working with.
Got it. Got it. Cool. Tavleen, let's talk about the resume skills, which is, I think, equally important when you compare it with technical skills and any other skills, maybe soft skills. So, a lot of time
Right.
people get rejected because of their resumes. So, how one should, prepare their resume? What all things they should mention? Obviously, they should mention technical stuff as well. But are there things that should specifically stand out in terms of resume building?
Right. Of course,
I hope I
resume.
was audible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got the question.
Okay.
So resume, of course, definitely plays a very important role. It's the first thing that the hiring person will see before
Mhm,
he or she meets you. They actually kind of get an idea about how you will turn out to be from the resume. So be very
mhm,
particular about what you write, what you put in there about yourself, about what you've worked on, what you know, what projects that you've did, everything. First and the most important thing, don't lie. Absolutely don't lie. I mean, there's no point
okay.
in lying when, because
Mhm,
डेफिनेटली
mhm.
आप फंसोगे ही फंसोगे. आप जाओगे इंटरव्यू के सामने, इतने इतने एक्सपीरियंस से वो
Agreed.
आते हैं, आप कुछ भी नहीं कर पाओगे वहां पे, एक्सप्लेनेशन नहीं दे पाओगे.
Mhm,
So try and be as honest as possible.
mhm,
Not necessarily you need to work on very exquisite or the fancy
mhm,
projects. Work on simple things,
mhm,
but know
mhm,
about them. Be very sure मैंने
mhm,
ये काम किया है, इसमें ये किया है, बेसिक प्रोजेक्ट भी उठाया है, चाहे
mhm,
मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम का ही लिया है, बट उसमें कुछ अपना एफर्ट डाला है
mhm,
कि नहीं, कुछ अपनी तरफ से अच्छा किया है,
mhm,
कुछ
mhm,
डिफरेंट किया है. दैट्स वेल, आई मीन
mhm,
यू विल गेट दैट एक्स्ट्रा पॉइंट व्हेन यू actually explain कि मैंने ये अलग कर दिया, I have done this better than what other people could have done. So be also be very concise and to the
mhm,
point when you're writing your resume. Don't blabber, don't over explain yourself. Write clearly about the skills you have,
okay.
the projects that you work, best
Mhm,
3 or 4 projects. Experience
okay.
will really highlight you if you've
Mhm,
done an internship somewhere or whatever
mhm.
experience that you have. And yeah, some good points about yourself, what makes you stand out from others. That's it.
Got it. Got it. So I'll take a couple of questions from the chat as well, and just to mention to our audience that you can also post your doubts if you have any. We'll be taking those doubts as well. So I'll take a question from Akshita, where she asked that what projects have you done when you got into Nokia? So,
Okay.
or maybe to be like generic, what all projects have you done in your
Right.
college, and you have mentioned it on your resume as well.
Okay. So my projects, one was an Android app. I was an Android enthusiast in the beginning. So I started working on Android, learned basics. Also, not a uh, very difficult and fancy project, but yes, I had an idea. It was a pregnancy tracker app. I
Okay.
tried to make that. There are other apps. So my basic focus was also to keep an essence of what is required in that app and add my own whatever I had planned to put in that app. So one Android app was there. Then I my since my work was mostly around Java, I like Java. I worked around it. So one was socket implementation. It was a simple project of socket implementation in Java. That was basically a networking based project.
Okay.
So yeah, that was one thing. Then I also happened to be a part of some places that I learned and gained interest in AI and voice recognition.
Okay.
So I had Alexa skills and this Google Assistant projects. So that was also there on my resume. But when it comes to Nokia, answering Akshata's question also precisely, for Nokia, I was mainly, asked questions about projects from my Android and also a lot about the Java project that I had worked on.
Okay, got it. So people do ask questions from the projects as well, right? Just to verify whether you have built it or not.
Absolutely, absolutely. There is definitely a chance that they'll question you on your projects. How have you made them? What have you used? What technology and what's different in them? Yeah, around this.
Okay, got it. So I'll go ahead with the next question, which says that Nokia में placement कैसे ले? So I think it was on campus, right? So
Yeah, it was on
how
campus.
did it all happen? What were the rounds like? Was it really difficult to get into Nokia for you, or maybe for someone who has decent programming skills?
Um, Actually, not very difficult, not very easy as well,
Mm-hmm.
because Nokia, surprisingly, I was asked about my projects in quite depth. I mean, I
Okay.
was not expecting, not prepared for that also. But when I appeared for my interview there, I had two rounds of interviews. One was the technical interview, then was a calling HR round on the call.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was quite in depth. By depth, I mean I started explaining. There were a few questions, general questions around DS Algo. Then they asked me about my projects, and when this project about Java socket programming came, they actually asked me to write uh, parts of my code as well. I mean, my code that I had worked on. So
Okay.
yeah, they were judging quite strictly on that, I guess. So that was a little confusing and difficult part for me there. But since it was fresh and I knew about it, I did manage to impress them with that. So I think,
Okay.
yeah, that gained me points there.
So they asked you to write the code from your project itself, right?
Not, of course, not the complete code, but
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
since it was socket programming and it was multi-threading and some core objects of Java were involved in them. So just to test how much I know about it, the snippets of that they asked me to write.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think our audience have got the answer. So this brings us to another question, and I think we also had the same question in our bucket list as well. So the next question is from Faizan Khan. Apart from technical skills, what all skills we need to know if we want to get into Castle? Or maybe I'll just take it in a general way that how we should prepare for maybe like skills which are not technical. Maybe it could be soft skills or something.
Yeah. Okay. So apart from technical skills, yeah, soft skills is one very important thing that you need to focus on, because you may be very good with coding, you may be very good at your technical skills aspect also, but unless you know how to communicate and put that across to the person you're explaining, there's no point. That's why, I
Absolutely.
mean, in most of the companies, they also keep one round, maybe sometimes before, for a GD. In very, I mean, big companies also, they do keep a round of GD to test if you're actually making a point there or not. If you're actually, when you're in a meeting also, you can speak or not. So yes, you should be. I'm not saying very fluent with English, but you should know how to put your point across, and should at least be heard when you're in the team and discussing about whatever project or anything that you're discussing about.
Got it. So how did you prepare for this thing? Like, were you already like you were from ICSE board? I do agree, but let's say somebody who is beginner and is not confident enough to speak in front of people. So how we should maybe we could engage in some activities, some communities to to help out with our maybe soft
Yeah.
skills. So what's
So
your take on this thing?
okay. For me, I mean, okay, one thing, the of course the school had that extra advantage, but not only that, when in college times also, they made sure during the college days that there were special classes for soft skills as well. So don't skip them, because people skip them because so कोई नहीं English की class है, GD है, कोई क्या हो गया. But yeah, if you know that you're lagging there, don't miss them. Then of course,
Mm-hmm.
Try, I mean, listening to
Mm-hmm.
this basic thing that people say that when you start watching some web series, start watching more and more of English
Mm-hmm.
ones, and yeah, try reading the subtitles, matching them. If there's a problem with English, but if there's a problem with the, you know, I don't know, public speaking or speaking in front of everybody, yeah, I think that that class would make a difference. Do attend that lecture, and yeah, start reading, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, try whatever this opportunity you get, make sure
Mm-hmm.
you are involved in that. And yeah, watch some good videos, English mostly, because of course then that will be a common mode of speaking and communicating on mostly when it comes to corporate.
Got it. So you mentioned that you can start watching, some web series which are in English, obviously. So there are a lot of people who actually start with this thing, but वो वापस नहीं आ पाते, फिर वहीं पे रह जाते हैं फिर.
एब्सोल्युटली, ऐसा भी नहीं करना है, टेक्निकल पे भी वापस आना है, बिकॉज
बिल्कुल.
that is a good point. So soft skills, but
Mm-hmm.
when you're absolutely good with code, soft
Mm-hmm.
skills थोड़ा सा कम हो जाता है टेक्निकल से.
Got it. Cool. So next question is from Gladden. I think his question is also a bit similar. How can college student improve on soft skills? Uh, do you want
I
to put some more
just
light into
said
this?
that. Yeah, Gladden, I mean, start getting involved in more of these soft skill things. Start watching videos on, there are many videos on YouTube. Try practicing something, you know. There's also one good practice of speaking in front of the mirror, if that helps you. Take a topic, start speaking with that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if you, I don't know, like this thing sometimes helps in when you're in college. Join a community or a club where you
Mm-hmm.
get actually you know, that opportunity of speaking.
Mm-hmm.
That might help if you, if you're okay with it.
Just to mention that Gladden is actually one of our alumni, and he has been placed with Barclays. I think he might be asking question on the behalf of maybe his colleagues. Cool. So, Tavleen, let's talk about the interview process that happened for the castle. What were the rounds? How did it all started? Again, it was, I think, on campus, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So Castle was on campus only, and I had 4 rounds. uh, that time actually it was a little uh, difficult for me to appear for that interview because I had been doing my internship that time. So that time in between, I got this thing, this mail that today you'll have your interviews. So that day, uh, I had to sort things out, clear my schedule, and then that's how the day started. So I had 4 rounds, as I said. One completely, first one was completely DS Algo based. Second was problem solving, in which I was
Okay.
asked about puzzles.
Okay.
Then was fundamentals and resume based, and finally was HR. To go in details, first DS Algo, as I said, very important part. So they started with asking some basics about data structures. There were one or two data structures that we discussed.
Okay.
Then there was one particular question that we discussed in a lot of ways that almost took 1 hour to discuss. So yeah, that was basically an implementation of one or two data structures together only, but
Okay.
that took a lot of time. So it's not that they'll ask you so many things, different things. Sometimes they also grill you on just one thing also. That's what
Mm-hmm.
happened with me in that round. Then second, as I said, was puzzles based. There is, I did not know much about puzzles when I started studying about companies, and you know, I was mostly about DS Algo and soft skills is the third thing. Then also about the fundamentals, computer fundamentals. Then also there are many companies that asks puzzles.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll find some good puzzles. I mean, some standard puzzles on Geeks for Geeks only. So that's how that round went. There were 4 puzzles that I was asked in that round.
Okay.
Then came the third round, which was fundamentals and resume based. Fundamentals, also operating system networks, questions around these were asked. That's why I say that is also important. You should know that. And resume, they talked about the projects that I worked there also. Then last was HR. That's mostly a general discussion about how plan to work, and how where do you see yourself in 5, 10 years. So these
Mhm.
general HR questions.
Okay, got it. Sorry. So, Tavleen, you were asked puzzles as well, right? And a lot of time, what happens is कि this puzzles have a very standard solution that like you might not get it in the interviews because you have to handle pressure as well, right? So puzzle का
Right.
solution सोचना could be a little difficult, and sometimes it's very obvious कि ऐसा कुछ already आपने सुन रखा है या देख रखा है. तो puzzles देने का मतलब purpose क्या हो सकता है? मतलब is it only to test your skills or is it like to like have a idea about कि आप कितने directions में सोच सकते हो? काफी बार ये भी होता है I think.
Yeah, I think because problem solving round का जब नाम था मुझे लगा था it will be again a data structures based or only something. But then I
Mhm.
realized problem solving is actually they'll give me a problem, they'll see how I'm solving it. So I
Okay.
mean I started with coming up with one or two things. I did not know all of the puzzles, to be very honest. Then I mean एक दो जो बहुत standard थी, they I had actually worked on them previously also, but one or two I did not know. Since it's mostly bit of your logic, bit of aptitude also, थोड़ा maths aptitude वो भी involved होता है. So I think how you think and how you reach to the solution, maybe they check that only, and yeah, that's logic and that thing.
Got it. So, Tavleen, just to like tell you that we also run multiple courses which are actually live, and what we do is that we teach our students data structures, algorithm, problem solving skills. Obviously, that also includes some bit of problem solving around the puzzles as well.
Right, I know.
And I think we have already sent out you the course curriculum as well. So, just wanted to have your opinion that how do you feel the course curriculum of this particular course is, and is it really helpful from your perspective? Like you have been through coding and everything for the last 4 5 years. So, how did you
Right.
saw this and find it helpful?
Actually, yes, I have gone through the curriculum of Coding Spoon, and I actually feel I also saw a few, this streams that you've done previously also. That
Alumni sessions,
answers
yeah.
the, yeah, exactly. That answers the question. I mean, your alumni studying from here, reaching out and bagging some great offers. I mean, that's great, And of course, I wished I had something when I was preparing. That time we did not have this. But yes, the curriculum, I think it's very much self sufficient. I have seen that starting from basics. We have curriculum in this curriculum. We have videos from, I mean, lives also and videos also, I guess, right?
Yes, yes,
So covering from basics then also till topics and data structures that are very important, hold very importance in when you come into appearing for companies. Graphs also you've discussed, array. I think
yeah.
this is a very self-sufficient course. This
Got it.
all curriculum. I quite liked it actually. I really wished it was there sometime back.
I wish we could have started earlier, probably.
Right.
Cool, sure. Thanks a lot, Tablin, for your for the obviously the feedback. Apart from this, I think we have some more questions. No, we don't have any questions. Cool. So we can wind up this meeting. But before that, I just want to ask you some tips, maybe one or two pointers that you want to mention to our audience, who might be fresher, who are or who might be in colleges. So उनके लिए कुछ tips for the preparation for interviews या companies crack करने के लिए.
Okay. So yeah, people who are in college, first of all, I mean, some are actually worried, पता नहीं कैसे होगा, क्या होगा. Of course, there's good to be worried also, but it's never too late. But you actually need to make a plan. I mean, for people who are just in first, second year, you have time. Third, also, I would say it's never too late. So start making a plan. Uh, Sort out things that this is my priority. This is where I want to reach, and start working towards it. It will really help you if you actually plan out, and whatever suits you. Make a timetable, make a chart, or whatever. But yes, you definitely would need a plan and start working towards it. For people who are weak in coding, start working towards coding, because unless you don't want to end up in a profile that's not technical, you really would need your coding to be at least okay, if not perfect. So yeah, and also about the other these technical aspects that we talked about, computer networks, operating system, a bit of aptitude also, because that will help you get to the first round as well. Because I had to work a lot on aptitude, and that's why I'm saying this. So yeah, all these things, I think when you work on them, you become okay with them. I think you'll be good. And plus, of course, there's coding spoon if you are lagging in at least these coding skills. So yeah, I think you'll be having great offers in your hands.
Sure, sure. Thanks a lot, Tavleen, for your time, and I hope that our audience have got a lot of things to take from this particular session. And I wish all of the people who are watching all the best in their journey. Whoever is watching this stream, maybe you could be fresher, experience, or you want to get into good companies. Just make sure that you are going through the points that Tavleen has mentioned, and obviously some bit add some your tips as well that you have got it from somebody else. So yeah, with this we have come to the end of this particular stream. I think at the end of this stream we have just one question, and I don't want to get it unanswered. So let's take that question as well. Could you suggest some resources for aptitude? Maybe we can end the show with this question. I think
Aptitude
people are really
resources.
excited.
Uh,
Yeah.
I personally only stick to YouTube when it comes to aptitude. I think that's better. And there are also some books. I can't recall the name, but yeah, I think you can reach out to me on LinkedIn if I later on remember, and I'll let you know about that.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. So I think I did my practice from YouTube only.
Okay.
So that's where I would recommend you to start from. And yeah, if there are any other questions, let Hare Krishna sir know, and they'll answer, or
Cool.
you can reach out to me also.
Cool. So, guys, we'll be putting up the social media handle of Dublin as well in the description. You can obviously check it out. Apart from that, if you have any doubts regarding the coding spoon or our DSA live course, you can obviously reach out to us through any of our social media platform. Maybe it could be LinkedIn, Instagram, or maybe through our email as well. So, yeah, with this, we have come to the end of this session. Thank you once again, Dublin, for your time. And thank you everyone who has joined this meeting. Thanks a lot. Thank you, guys.